Jimmies assemble. They start jumping over like this wall of rocks like Power Rangers. They're the Jimmy Rangers, chat. And they have these like ridiculous like Power Ranger-esque weapons. Like one's like using an accordion on a zombie and like, I'm gonna twist up his legs. And then you punch him in the face. He goes, yeah. And this other one uses like these giant like clippers or prawns or whatever like that. Like, I'm gonna hold him at bay, right? They hold his neck. And they're all doing like fucking like Power Ranger moves. Like, yeah, ooh, They're like the Ginyu Force chat. It's like Super Sentai. It's like, what's happening? And then Jack O'Connell's character, Sir Jimmy, is like, fucking welcome to the band, kid. And then the movie ends. I recently saw 28 Years Later, which was one of my most anticipated movies of 2025. I think all of us were blown away by that trailer. It looked amazing. Plus, it had the legacy of the original films, particularly with 28 Days Later, which, at least for me, is one of my favorite zombie movies of all time. And it's also the zombie film, and some people are arguing, like, it's not a zombie movie. It's like, it's a zombie film. Shut the fuck up. All right? Shut up. It's the zombie movie that revitalized, rejuvenated the zombie subgenre, okay? We've been living in a post-28 Days Later world. It's been really interesting. Getting a lot of great zombie films. Everything from the Dawn of the Dead remake, which had fast zombies, to something like Train to Busan, which I actually rewatched for the first time in a while. Really good movie, right? Very impactful film. You also had 20 Weeks Later, which I rewatched for the first time since seeing it when originally released back in 2007, I believe. And even though I think it has a fantastic opening, you want to argue like what's one of the best openings to a zombie film ever? 28 Weeks Later is up there. It's in the top 10, and possibly even if not the top 5. It's very, very good. And I think Robert Carlyle does a really good job in the movie. He's not in it nearly enough as human. But the movie has a lot of problems. It's more of like we're just going from one set piece to the next set piece. And we're following a lot of characters who are not as well developed, nearly as developed as Cillian Murphy or Naomi Harris or, Brendan Gleeson were in 28 Days Later. And you have just two annoying children in the film that are the cause of everyone's misfortune. So it's a very flawed movie. But a lot of people like it. A lot of people love it. More power to you. I prefer 28 Days Later. So all of that, coupled with the excellent marketing, I was super excited for 28 Years Later. Couldn't wait to see it. It's like Danny Boyle, Alex Garland, reteaming. Let's fucking go. Saw it. Couldn't have been more disappointed by it. Outside of some isolated moments throughout the film, overall, and performances that I thought were like really good. Like Aaron Taylor Johnson, I think, did a great job. Ray Fiennes did a great job. Alfie Williams, my first time ever seeing him in anything, is essentially the main character of the movie. He plays Spike. I think it was great in the film. Overall, I was disappointed by it because I just feel like it's a movie with so many different ideas and none of them are really connecting well to each other. You have a lot of technical aspects of this film I think are a mess. I think the music is really bad. You don't have John Murphy back, who's doing the score. You don't play In the House in a Heartbeat at all. You have this what I think is awful editing in the movie. That is so inconsistent, including like random movie clips, and we get this weird bullet time, freeze frame, arrow time effects, and just a ton of quick cuts. Bad CGI, especially a lot of bad CGI animals for some reason. Like we get CGI deer and rats, and there's green screen shots that are very obvious. Again, the Infected, I think, are a mixed bag. There's some really great ideas with them, but we also have one of the most ridiculous scenes in a zombie movie that I've ever seen that involves a pregnant Infected, that I thought was laugh out loud funny. And then you just get this very weird, anticlimactic, hilarious ending with Jack O'Connell's character, that I just didn't care for at all. So yeah, I was, and I think also the movie is more about themes than telling a coherent story. And I would blame Alex Garland. Alex Garland, I think I know if he has his fans, but I think he's washed as a writer. I really do. I think he's up his own ass. I think he's very pretentious, especially with his recent stuff. He thinks he's so deep, but none of his ideas or concepts feel all that fleshed out. And I think that's on full display in something like 28 Years Later. But I did want to just highlight certain moments of the movie. I guess get into the meat of it all. You know, the movie set, and this takes place 28 years after the events of the original film. I mean, both movies, which both are canon, by the way. Some people are saying that 28 weeks later is not canon. It is canon. I'm very confused by that because in the movie, there's opening text that also describes like the state of the world after the rage virus infection, which decimated the UK. It acknowledges the events in 20 weeks later by saying that the rage virus did go to continental Europe, which we saw at the end of 20 weeks later, which the rage virus like is now in France. Like in France is a part of continental Europe. Like some people are saying it's not canon. I was like, I think it is. And the movie just says they pushed it back. And Deadpool's correct. He's right. They absolutely used footage from 20 weeks later, which is the sniper scene of Jeremy Renner's character. So people that are saying like, oh, it's not a part of the it's not a part of the canon anymore. It's like that is just incorrect. So I don't know. You know, if you want to argue that's not, feel free, but it is. Okay, I saw the film. Many other people have saw the film, and they're all saying, like I'm saying, that it acknowledges the events of 28 years later, at least the broad aspects of it, the ending of it. And again, like the start of this movie, I think is actually it's confusing. Like it starts out where it's like, okay, despite the UK being quarantined by the rest of the world, essentially, it's like the mainland is deadly. That's where all the infected are. They've evolved now. There's different variations of the infected. You get like alpha that kind of corrals all of them. You got like these big chubbos. You get these fatties that are like eating or blobby and eat worms and stuff. And they got like a bunch of fat kids now. They established that around the mainland UK, you have these small isolated communities who have also apparently are not accepting help from the outside world. And that's what we have with Aaron Taylor Johnson's character and his son and his wife played by Jodie Comer. And I love the idea of this. I truly do. And seeing like, what's the society like? What are their kind of traditions? And the thing is like, they have, like show off a lot of cool stuff, like this is how we train the kids. There's a rite of passage. We take them to the mainland. They got to prove themselves by foraging, getting resources, or killing a bunch of infected. And we see them in the movie, and like they have these masks and stuff. But they never really get into that, the nitty gritty of like, okay, what is this? What does this mean? What does this mask mean? I thought like we're gonna explain this. And they don't really do that because intercut with like I think a lot of bad editing. Some footage of this old medieval film. It's like, what's the point of all this? But I realized over time. We've had discussions about the film since then. Funny enough, Deadpool and I, we the most recent Discord discourse, which is great, by the way, we talked about our favorite zombie movies of all time, but we opened up by talking about 28 years later. And we were just kind of talking about like the state of the society. It's like, why doesn't this like isolated community like accept any help from the outside? Are they just quarantined too? You know? Because a big part of the film is Jodie Comer is sick of something. She's out of her goddamn mind, out of her gourd, right? She's suffering some sort of physical illness that's along with this mental illness, which, you know, we'll get to more of that in just a bit. It's actually one of my problems with the movie. You talk about a familiar fucking story that this movie has in spades. And I was like, I just don't understand why I just don't reach out to the rest of the world. That to me is just kind of confusing. You know, it's like, okay, but I'm willing to let out of everything else, I'm willing to let that go. Other than that, like some of the big moments in the film that just immediately took me out of it, and it's really, a lot of it takes place in the second half. Like one of, I think, the worst scenes in this movie involves Jodie Comer and one of the pregnant infected. So we've established, chat, that the rage virus, it turns these fucking people into rage monsters. Like, they will kill you. They will rip out your face. They'll gouge your eyes out. They'll tear you apart. They'll start eating you. Like, we've seen this in all the films, right? But there is a scene in the movie where, it's so funny, where Spike and this other character named Eric, who is one of the part of this, the quarantine, essentially, his boat apparently fucking, you know, got damaged and they had to evacuate and they went on the mainland. His whole team got wiped out by a bunch of zombies or a bunch of infected. And he's on his own. He's with them now. And for whatever reason, they lose track of Jodie Comer. And I hate this too, where she has these moments constantly throughout the film where she doesn't know where she is, she doesn't know who she is. She thinks she when she's talking to her son, she's talking to her dead dad. And I'm like, I don't really want, I don't want to indulge in this story. I just find it very boring and very trite and very familiar and very obnoxious. I know some people connected with it, and I'm thinking like, I've just seen this type of story so many times, and it's like I was never emotionally moved by it personally. But in one of the many instances where she just wanders off, she waddles off, and she goes to an abandoned train car where she encounters all these CGI rats. And she boards it because she hears someone going, "Ah!" And it's this pregnant infect who's got a big old prego belly, chat, and it's moving everything. It's like there's a zombie baby about to be born, and the pregnant infected like wants to eat Jodie Comer, but she's like, I'm birthing a baby, so she's like, she can't do it. She just physically can't do it. And at one point, like, the pregnant infected is, like, raising his arms like this, like, because as you would when you're giving birth. And Jodie Comer grabs onto her hands and helps her through the birthing process. Like, oh, we're united, even though you're a fucking crazy, flesh-eating rage monster. And, I'm Jodie Comer. I'm losing my mind. We're united because of motherhood. And I thought and she helps deliver this thing's baby. Which then sets up something else. And it comes out of the vagina. You see it all. And by the way, Spike is seeing this, and he's horrified. And then you have Eric, who's the only sensible person. They make him out to be the villain in this scene, where he's just like, fucking shoot her. Like, kill this thing, right? And the baby is born, and it's seemingly not infected with the rage virus. And we get an explanation later on the film as to why it's not infected. But it's stupid. It's very stupid. And it also contradicts something, well, at least for right now, from 28 weeks later, but we'll get to that. But he's like, he's 100% in the right. Put the baby down, gonna shoot the baby, gonna shoot the mom. 100% should have happened. That's how it should happen. Like, fuck this, no. But he gets his fucking head ripped. Eric gets his fucking head ripped off by the alpha chat. And Jodie Comer and Spike, they take the baby and they run out of there, right? That's what happens. But I just thought the scene, that's like, why is this happening? This is so weird. And also, it makes me want to apologize to Zack Snyder and James Gunn for their ridiculous baby zombie scene in Dawn of the Dead. I never really liked that scene. A lot of people say, Chris, you're being too hard. And you know what? I think I was, because this is much dumber. This is way more dumber than the scene in Dawn of the Dead. I'm like, I'm at the scene, I was like, it's fine. It's fine now. I don't, why? It just took me out of the movie, and it's very unintentionally funny. So we eventually get to Ray Fiennes, which I actually like that part of the film. I just feel like it's in the wrong, it's like, that's the third act. Everything with Ray Fiennes, crazy fucking Ray Fiennes is his doctor, which is the reason why Spike is going to this location. He's going to take his fucking nuts mother to this doctor across the zombie-infested wasteland to talk to Ray Fiennes. Even though endangering himself, but don't worry, because the story, again, this is another thing I hate about the film, is that Jodie Comer is only crazy when the story requires her to be crazy, but when it's like, all right, we need her to be competent, she'll be competent. And I hate that. I hate when they go back and forth. It's like, all right, if you say so, whatever, fine. But they eventually get to Ray Fiennes, and also, like I said, I think his part should be in the second third of the movie, because that's the third. It's like the third act is just kind of like really dull and slow and things. And even though like it just doesn't make any sense in terms of the continuity. It's like then the third act should be like, all right, like the second act, this is the calm before the storm. Second act is when shit hits the fan, right? That's what it, in my opinion, it should be. That to me is a good story. Some people disagree. Fair enough. But they show him the baby that the zombie birthed, and they say like, yeah, she's not infected. And he goes, it's the placenta, the miracle of the placenta. That's what saved the baby. And I went, Ray Fiennes, what the fuck are you talking about? Because he's a doctor. Now, I'm not a doctor, chap, but I'm pretty sure that, despite the placenta being, there and covering the baby, like, there's also a thing called an umbilical cord, which feeds the baby, in which the mother and the baby exchange blood and various fluids. And how is the rage virus spread, chat? Through fucking blood. Okay? Like, that's how it's spread. It's established fucking scene 1 and 28 days later, 23 years ago. I know the math is weird, but it was that movie came out 23 years ago. They established that. All right? And so I'm like, Ray, what are you talking? It's just stupid. It's really fucking stupid to me. And we're just like, the miracle. He just says the miracle of the placenta. And we're like, okay. And again, then we get to the part where it was like, all right, well, this is a one-way destination for Jodie Comer. Like, if you thought, like, again, Spike, he lives in a world where he doesn't know what a radio is, know what the internet is, like, and they have that scene with the Era character and stuff. It's like, okay, I get it. And so when Ray Fiennes start analyzing Jodie Comer, and he's like, you got the cancer. He's some sort of cancer that either spread from your body to your brain, or your brain to your body. That's why you're the way they are. Spike's like, you can cure her, right? He's like, nah, can't do that. I can't do any of that shit. We don't have the technology for it anymore. And I'm like, well, of course. Like, again, the problem with this, even I'm willing to go with, like, okay, I know what the destination is with this whole thing, and it's like, because we've seen this story so many times, but this type of story. But I'm like, at least make the journey interesting. I just didn't think the journey was very interesting. That's my big issue with it, because it was just doing all these familiar things or these very unintentionally funny things in the second half. And so she's like, Spikey, I gotta go. I gotta die. That's what I gotta do. And so Ray Fiennes' his character, Crazy Doctor. He's actually super sane. He probably did go crazy, but now he has this super sanity now, where he's just kind of come to, peace with the idea that we live in this fucking world, and he has this, actually, a really, well thought idea of life and death and how beautiful they both are. It's like, I actually like it, but it's just in the wrong place in the film. He has this, like, all sorts of, like, by the way, he has a ton of medicines and stuff. He has a huge fucking supply. And so he's got morphine up the ass, Chad. He's got so many, put up your ass too. Because that's how he takes care of, like, all the zombies and stuff, all the infected. He has, like, this little dart, this blow dart, and he gets them and it kind of puts them to sleep. Does that to the alpha, Big Dick Samson. He's got a big dick. By the way, Chad, all the dicks are and I thought so. I didn't think, because everybody like, oh, those are real dicks. I'm like, I don't think those are real dicks. They're all prosthetic dicks. Because apparently and it was confirmed by Danny Boyle, because according to when you have child actors on set, like, they can't actually be exposed to genitalia, at least in the UK. I don't know if that's the same for the United States. I have no idea. But in the UK, they say that you cannot, like, expose a child to, like, genitalia. And so they're all prosthetic penises. So it's like little puppet dicks. Right? And I was like, because I'm like, that's a very big dick that man has. It's extremely large. Because I think he would have a heart attack. Like, every time Samson would get erect, to knock up all these zombies and stuff, which I believe he did, I feel like he would die. He would die very quickly afterwards. He'd die mid-coitus. Anyway, so here we go, Alfie and Spikey. They knock him up with some good old sleepy juice, right? And he goes out, morphine. And then, Jodie Comer's like, well, I'm going to die. So get some morphine in me, Ray Fiennes. He's like, okay. And he puts some morphine in her, and then he burns her body, essentially, until she's a skull. And you see the tippy top of the poster, Chad? See the little tippy top? That's where Jodie Comer's skull goes, right there. And then we get to one of the worst parts of the film. And, at this point, I guess I should wait. So after that, like, Spike, surprisingly cool with the fact that Ray Fiennes did that, which I thought, like, oh, it's going to be a point of, like, tension. Not really. He gets it. And I'm like, okay. And then Ray Fiennes is like, after they're attacked by Big Dick Samson and Ray Fiennes almost buys it, I straight up thought, like, he's going to fucking buy it. He's about to fucking die. I was like, oh, man, this is it. Spike saves him, and Ray Fiennes tells him, it's time for you and that fucking baby to get the hell out of here. He's like, leave my little fucking place alone. Get out of here. He's like, okay. He takes the baby back to which is also very weird. Again, the security for this community is bizarre. He puts the baby in a shopping basket, which I thought was very funny. Which makes sense, though. I didn't buy it. That makes sense. They'd be using that. He puts it on the door, and no one notices the baby for hours or whatever. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, how did anyone know about the baby until it started crying? Which is very weird. Like, these security guards fucking suck. They are so bad. Anyway, they find the baby, and Aaron Johnson has been gone for like 45 minutes. He's been gone for like the entire back half of the film, which was very weird to me. I feel like he would have been more proactive. Like, that I didn't understand at all. And it's like, well, we can't go anyone, can't send anyone to the mainland. I was like, he strikes me as the guy that would fucking go anyway, but whatever. Where no one's coming for you, if you're there. It's like, hey, yeah, sure. Anyway, he's like, here's the baby. And he straight up says man, this is crazy. He straight up says this baby was born thanks to my mother, and it is the baby of an infected. But they're not infected. I 110% believe they would have killed the baby right in the spot. There's no question about that. No question about that. That would have happened. Anyway, and he freaks out. And another point of thing that bothered me about the whole baby not being infected, they established in 20 weeks later that you can be infected but not exhibit the behavior and symptoms of the infected. Like we saw that of Robert Carlyle's wife in 20 weeks later, which is interesting. That's actually one of the interesting parts of that movie that I actually really liked. And I thought like, oh, is this what, now if they do that in the new movie, it's like, is this what it's going to be? Yeah, asymptomatic. Thank you, Deadpool. She's asymptomatic. Is the baby going to be asymptomatic? And where if someone puts their little fucking nip, into that baby's mouth, they're going to go, blah! Like that would be kind of fucking cool. I wouldn't mind that. And Spike would have fucked up. I don't think they're going to do that, but we'll see. Anyway, Aaron Taylor Johnson's sad, but he can't go there because the causeway's all filled up with water. But he's going to fucking go after his son, obviously. Because Spike, he needs to find himself, right? And also he doesn't like the fact that his dad was cheating on his mom with a hot girl, back at the village named Rose or whatever the hell it was. Anyway, Spike, he's going more and more into the mainland where he eventually meets, and I forgot to mention this, I'll tell you what, the first warning sign of the movie for me where it's like, oh, I didn't like that, was the opening with the kids. And initially I was like kind of into it where it's like, you see in the trailer, it's like all the kids, the mom setting them down to watch Teletubbies and everything. It's like, okay. But like, and it fucking plays out and the fucking zombies, kill the parents, and they kill some of the kids. They don't show it, which I feel like they should have showed it. It's like, come on, have some fucking balls. They should have showed it, ripping those kids apart. And then the kid runs to his dad, who's like a vicar. He's like not a priest, but he's a vicar. He's a minister. And the dad is like, he's out of his fucking mind. He's like, God ordained, blah, 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 blah. And the kid's name is Jimmy. And he sees all this violence and stuff, and he hides. He sees his dad being fucking ripped apart. He's like, oh, Jesus, why did you fucking forsake us? Yada, yada. Anyway, we get to the end of the movie, and Spike, who is no longer scared of the infected, he's able to fight against them, but he's seemingly going to be about to be overwhelmed by all of them. And he's like, oh, shit, this is my last stand of Spike. It's like dark ending. And all of a sudden, chat, an adult Jimmy appears in a fucking like purple jumpsuit looking... And apparently he and his followers are also all named Jimmy. They're like Jimmy variants, chat. They got like Jimmy Inc. and Jimmy Jam. It's like they're all different Jimmys. They all got horrible bad teeth, like British bad teeth on full display in this. He's like, oh, kid, looks like you're about to be overwhelmed here. Why don't you give us a fucking crack at him? And then they start jumping. Yeah, Jimmy's assemble. They start jumping over like this wall of rocks like Power Rangers. They're the Jimmy Rangers, chat. And they have these like ridiculous like Power Ranger-esque weapons. Like one's like using an accordion on a zombie and like, I'm going to twist up his legs. And then you punch him in the face. He goes, yeah. And this other one uses like these giant like clippers or prawns or whatever like that. Like, I'm gonna hold him at bay, right? To hold his neck. And they're all doing like fucking like Power Ranger moves. Like, yeah, ooh, ee, ah. They're like the Ginyu Force chat. It's like Super Sentai. It's like, what's happening? And then Jack O'Connell's character, Sir Jimmy, is like, fucking welcome to the band, kid. And then the movie ends. And apparently his character is inspired by Jimmy Savile. And I didn't know that, like, going to the movie. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's happening. But I have heard of this guy before. He was a English media personality, similar to Mr. Rogers, right? He's kind of like the British equivalent. Well, it turns out, apparently a lot of people found out, and I guess in the late 2010s, mid 2010s, he was a fucking pedophile. He's dead now, but he was a pedophile, chat. And he did horrific things to children. And I guess that's what they're implying is that's what, and you see in the movie, and I realize it now, you see like these marks, you see this emblem carved on walls, on people. You see like the fucking writing of beware the Jimmies. I'm like, okay, establishing like, oh, the Jimmies are bad. This cult or whatever. But the problem is, it's just, the scene is just, it's coming from a different movie completely. It's so wacky and weird, and it doesn't make me excited for the Bone, especially because it's directed by Nia DaCosta, who, I'm sorry, but I'm not a fan of what I've seen of her work. I've yet to see her first movie, but I've seen her most recent films, Candyman and The Marvels, and I thought both of those movies were bad. So I am not excited for the Bone Temple. And again, I was just left disappointed by this. I just think this movie's a big fucking mess. Some good moments, some good ideas, but man, the execution across the board I think was pretty piss poor. But yeah, I don't know. What about you guys? I want to hear your thoughts on all these scenes, all these moments. Let me go ahead and read it. But yeah, I'm sorry, Chad. You know how excited I was. I wanted to love this movie. I just didn't.
5 minutes later.
They were too floppy to be real. They were way too floppy. They were flopping the way. I mean, it was crazy. Like, damn, they're floppy. And they were big. They were too big. I was like, hey, these are really big dicks. Let's see here. Thanks for the heads up. Hey. Spoilers. Kids seem to have about his mother dying and placed her skull. Yeah, I mean, he was really okay with it. He was like, that ends well, I suppose. Like, damn, dude. I better just put her out of her misery now than either let the cancer risk. No, I understood why they did. I'm like, yeah, good. Because I don't also, I was just kind of sick of her character. I was just like, all right, let's fucking get this over with. I didn't really give a shit. Because I've seen this type of storyline before. It's been done better. Let's just move on to the inevitable and like, all right, we're getting out of the way. Let's go. Yeah, I didn't give a shit. I didn't care. Actually, I like to climb the skull tower, horrific and beautiful at the same time. It was fine. As long as they feed him milk exclusive from a bottle, it should be. But that's the thing. How would they know that? They wouldn't know that, and it would be inevitable that this kid would infect someone anyway. It would just be the exchange of saliva, right? It would just be bodily. It would happen. They can't keep the kid isolated forever. But I don't think I think they're going to ignore from 28 weeks later. They're not going to. It's like, ugh. So Isaac told me about, I never in a million guess how this would end. Yeah, I know. It's so weird. Speaking of the cheating scene, is in the Jack O'Connell's contract now that if he's in a movie, somebody has to perform cunnilingus on it. What? Wait, what? Oh, yeah. Oh, because of sitters. Yeah. Right. But he's like, not on me. I'm not the one to do it. Someone else needs to do it. The Jimmy Savile theme, Power Rangers. Yeah, it's so stupid. I was like, what are we doing? I would cut off at him shooting a hit in the first episode. That would have been much better. That would have been like, okay. But then I also hate it because it's not a complete story. It's like, oh God, just now we have to wait, how long we're going to have to wait for the next movie. And that's the thing. It's like, I felt the worst feeling this gave me is I felt unsatisfied. Not just because it was bad. That's a part of it. But because I just felt really unsatisfied after watching it. Where I didn't feel that way after watching 8 days later. Hell, I didn't even feel that way after watching 28 weeks later. I auditioned 20 weeks later, but it's like, well, that was the story they told. Like, this whole story, this story's not told. The Jimmy Rangers really pissed me off. They're just so goofy. I was like, it's from a Jimmy Force 5. Like Negan, kind of like Negan. Yeah, it's about to be, who I've never liked. I've always maintained. I've maintained for fucking years, even from the comics. As I stopped reading, I was like, this Negan character sucks. It's about to be pee-pee pants city in here. It's like, oh, give me a break. I've never liked Negan. A lot of people do, though. But it's a similar vibe, even goofier vibes. It's Negan up to an 11. That was bad. It was not badass. Must have kept his vampire bars from sinners. He must have. Are you serious about the ending? I'm 100% serious about the ending. That's how it ends. I am not joking. I exaggerate a lot of things. I am not exaggerating. I think I probably there's also crazy music. They played I forgot to mention this. They played the Teletubbies audio, where they know the Teletubbies. It's the same audio in the beginning of the movie where the Teletubbies goes 1, 2, 3, and there's a delay because the fourth one's stupid. 4. It's always the purple one. It's the same thing. And they all hop out. They're all like, woo. I'm going to base the character off the Infamous child molester Jimmy Savile. It's like, okay. It's like, all right. But it's just, on paper, it's like, ooh, that's really fucked up and dark. But it's just how it's shown, how it's executed, it's terrible. I tried to convey just how embedded Jimmy Savile's British psyche. Sure. Probably why there's such a disconnect of non-British. No, I mean, I was like, I didn't know what they were doing. I thought it was fucking Teletubbies Power. Plus, there's a Deadpool pointing this out because I've forgotten. Spike has a Power Rangers action figure. He has one. I think it's like from Galaxy or something. I think it's from the Galaxy Power Rangers. I was like, oh, Power Rangers. I was like, oh, look at that. And I was like, oh. So that's why people are like making the connection. And it is. I mean, how they're moving around is very Power Ranger-esque. It really is. And listen, I'm saying as someone who likes fucking Power Rangers. I don't want it 28 years later, though. The Jimmy Rangers are just psychos from Dead Rising. Yeah, you're right, Isaac. Or bikers from Dawn of the Dead. People can't wait to fuck shit up in a pile. The bikers, though, again, that felt more natural. And maybe it's an American. I don't know. Maybe it's an American. I just felt like, yes, the bikers are exaggerating Dawn of the Dead, but you know what they remind me of? I know this movie came out before this movie, but I saw these movies like in different points of my life. But the bikers in Dawn of the Dead felt so much, or even the military in Day of the Dead, they felt so much like the fucking like Lord Humongus's Gain in Road Warrior. It felt like those guys, you know, the Smegma boys and all that. It felt like them. You know, I was like, oh, that would make sense. Like, I don't know, maybe it's like an American cultural thing where it's like, I get it. I get what they're doing there. It's just here, it didn't hit the same. It didn't hit the same for me. Plus the fact that they're like all clean too. Their fucking clothes are like look really good. How'd they find all these jumpsuits? Alec, that you rescribed, appreciate that. Colin Murphy is rumored to be back for Bone Temple. Well, I'm excited for the. Are you mean Cillian Murphy? Cillian Murphy, you mean? See, now I'm a little concerned though. It's like with him coming back as Jim, because I don't want that character ruined. You know, because I really like Jim in that movie. Like the last images I have of that character is him just fucking going ape shit in that mansion, then him and Naomi Harris fucking stopping. And being together and, you know, taking care of that girl, Brendan Gleeson's daughter. It's like such a, like two powerful things in that movie. And I'm a little concerned now what they're going to do. And apparently it's supposed to tie back to the way the village lives their lives in the sense that it's misguided. Sure. Like how they all have these fuckers now who say we need to abandon modern society and get back to nature. And the village is Boyle and Garland saying, here it is. This is what you want to go back to. Still feel that way. Right. Which is probably why they don't want outside help. At least that's we assume that. We don't know. We just can assume. I like the first third of the film, but sadly the movie got worse the more it went on. Yeah, I liked Act 1 and 3 of this movie, and Act 2 lagged for me. It felt too Last of Us for me. A lot of, well, I mean, God, you know, there's so many zombie films influence Last of Us, and Last of Us is influencing so many zombie films now, and so much of that media. So much of that media, because it's so impactful. Rage virus will turn you into a mindless rage monster, but you get a big dick. You get a big dick, get a big raging hard-on. The Jimmies are like a bunch of fucked up Lost Boys. The idea is they latched on to good things from their child using that to become, nostalgia. Yeah, right. To be fair, missed the name of the kid was Jimmy and thought they were worshiping Jim from Twitter. That would have been interesting. I'm glad I was wrong. I mean, I don't know. That would have been kind of cool. He went bad or something, but yeah, I don't know. Again, I didn't like the reveal of what the Jimmies were. Don't forget the death metal version of the Teletubbies. That was, well, I mentioned it. Black Sam was rocking the Pringles tin hard. He had a big old dick. I think the baby not being infected did make some sense because during pregnancy, the placenta allows essential nutrients and oxygen to pass them over to the fetus while also blocking harmful substances. But what does the umbilical cord do? I'm sorry, but I don't hate to get this specific. I know it's a zombie film. I know. It's like science isn't exactly exact, but I'm like, wait a minute. Here we go. The umbilical cord is a flexible tube-like structure that connects a developing fetus to the mother's placenta during pregnancy. It acts as a lifeline, providing oxygen and nutrients to the fetus while also removing waste products, according to the Cleveland Clinic. So apparently, rage virus, after birth, the umbilical cord is clamped and cut, leaving a stump that eventually dries up and falls off. I just think that's silly. I still think that's really silly. The miracle of the placenta. I just don't buy that. Between this movie and Sinners. Oh, Sinners is a fucking... I love Sinners. Sinners is a masterpiece. The idea of a crazy post-apocalyptic Jimmy Civilka is kind of... Sure, on paper. 100%. I'm not saying it's not. But I could see it being weird and all when you have no context. Yeah, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Plus, when they're playing Teletubby music and things, they're like, When they consult medical professionals about placenta, I think they all made it up. I'm pretty sure they made it up. The thing about this movie is that I don't blame anyone for how they feel about it. It's like I loved and hated, and I could see how they feel the way. It's very divisive. It's extremely divisive. I think this is going to be one of the most divisive movies this year. I don't think there's anything else that's come out this year that I think has been as divisive as this film. Because people were excited for this. I think it's complete in the sense that Spike has figured out what kind of man he wants to be, where he has his dad pulling him in one direction to be a full machismo about violence, his mother taking him another direction of being more caring and trust. Again, even if they had the ending of him like just shooting the infected and just would have cut, I still would have been like, it didn't feel good. Years Later was more interesting in being a prologue to the new trilogy than being a satisfying. Yeah, it still wouldn't have been a satisfying story. It still would have just been like, okay, is that really all you have to say? It just feels like Alex Garland going, I'm Alex Garland, I'm smarter than everyone else, and I'm more interested in the themes than telling a full story. It just felt like that to me. And Danny Boyle was just obsessed with his style. Oh, my God. Just like, how can I make this action scene horrific to watch? How can I annoy the audience? It felt like that's what he was doing. Jason, I enjoyed the movie, but it could have been a lot better. It's a bit of a mess, and I hated the last 5 minutes of the Jimmy Squad. But I like the performances and the tense sequences. I'm not a fan of Nia DaCosta, came here in the Marvels and the Jimmys. Don't give me faith. At least we don't have to wait too long. This is coming out in January. Yeah, we'll see. Also, I'm curious how this movie's gonna do. I know it made like $60 million like worldwide. Made back its production budget. I'm very curious to see how this movie's gonna do afterwards, like next weekend. Because you got two. That's the thing. You got two big movies coming. You got F1 and Megan, and I think you can argue two different audiences for those, but Megan is going to get all the horror fans in there. So, and action fans too. By the way, I went down a weird rabbit hole the other day about the Teletubbies and the different ethnicities they're still according to the creators. The green one is black, the red one is Cantonese, the purple one is gay. Different ethnicities, gay's an ethnicity. Did you guys know that? Oh, boy. The community having mass represent the infected. They're up to some bad shit behind the scenes. Sure. It's Power Rangers from Operation Overdrive, which came into... I did not see that one. I'm unfamiliar with Overdrive. I think Metro is probably the closest comparison. That's what people can be comparing him to. Like, that's what people have been saying. That's what I've heard. It's like, he's the British Mr. Rogers. So then a shitload of charity stuff, and it's kind of a beloved national. No, I know about that. Yeah. Well, I've known recently. Yeah. Yeah, Jim is coming back. I mean, he'll be a leader of resistance. We'll see. I'm very curious what they're going to do with Jim. Jim versus the Jimmies, right? Yeah. I think for the most part, in spite of the few caveats, I just, on opposite sides. I can't believe the didn't just agree to bomb the little... I know, I've been like, fuck these people. So did we get the Jim character last name? Because if I remember right, when they showed some of the tombstones, the village, one of them said Jim Davies on it. Named me Chuck twice, and they never gave Jim a last name. Yeah. I bet they'll kill him in the new one. I bet they're going to Luke Skywalker him Last Jedi style. I bet that's what they're going to do. He'll fart himself to death or something. Be like, oh, no. I just feel like that's going to happen. Because he's a producer on this. Like, Cillian Murphy's a producer. I don't know to what extent. He probably was like, I'll put some money towards this film. I made a nice dime off of fucking Oppenheimer. I'll put some money in the pot. I'll make some on the back. I don't know if he's going to make a lot on the back end. I really don't know. You gonna say?
I'm pretty sure he's an executive producer.
He's an executive producer, which means he put some money forward. Yeah. But creatively, I don't think he had any creative input. Yeah, Jim 28 Days Later. It was kind of foreshadowed the Power Rangers. He goes, yep, Spike Lee and the Rangers. Yep, we talked about that. Toy behind. But now he's confronted by it again. Which, again, it's still, I'm sorry, but the interesting ideas on paper, but it all comes down to how you execute these ideas. I just don't feel like Boyle or Garland execute these ideas well. Honestly, the part of the movies that annoy me were the stormtrooper-like soldiers and Spike and his mom surviving that. I know, I was like, how did that happen? Movie magic. I was referring to the O'Connell kind of link. Like, gotcha. A lot of gaps are allowed here and there. This isn't directed at you, by the way. It's just a general thing. You're trying to make your movie 100% logical with no, I understand that. Like, there's always going to be a degree of you gotta suspend your what the fuck am I trying to say? I'm all over the place right now. You know, you gotta suspend your disbelief. I get that. Trying to make your movie 100% logical with no gaps. You're gonna have a really anal, boring movie. Sure. You also don't want a movie with 0% logic because that would be a nightmare. 7% logic is perfect. Yeah, I feel like this movie is like 25% logic. There's a question about the Jimmy Rangers being but will they be the new Black Goop? Maybe. No, I won't know. I won't know until the next movie. Again, they don't come until the end. I don't like them at the end, but we'll find out at the end for the next film. Gremlin had a movie come out this year. I know, I haven't seen that. To be fair, I haven't seen that movie. The last movie I saw was Civil War, and I hate that movie. I think that's a movie that it says nothing. I don't think it has the courage to say anything. Check out my review of Civil War. It's on my YouTube channel. Gremlin, a movie. Oh, I'm sorry, I just read that. Mega's also Lester. True. Last week, How to Train Your Dragon took up a lot of theaters. Yeah. That's right. I still got that to go up against. I'm seeing F1 tomorrow and Megan 2.0 over the weekend. I'm very excited to see both. I'm looking forward to Megan 2.0 because I just love the first movie. We're doing a watch party for it tomorrow, actually. F1, to be honest, I don't know anyone. I'm just not in the F1 Formula race. I'm not a sports guy. Not to say I don't like sports movies or sports dramas. There's plenty I do. But the trailers I was like, they haven't really wowed me or impressed me. But again, this is Joseph Kosinski, who is coming off of one of the best movies of the decade, which is Top Gun Maverick. It's just like, so I'm really to be like, all right, let's see what you got, But nothing has grabbed me from that trailer. It's like nothing's like going, wow, We'll see. Jim versus, I think that's what it's gonna be. You're gonna get Jim versus the Jimmies. What's crazy about the placenta thing is that Kid is inquisitive as fuck the whole movie and ask him all sorts of things. But the moment that Archer says the miracle of the placenta, he doesn't ask, what the fuck does that mean, Dad? What's the placenta? He's at that point they're like, go along with it, just go along with it, because they don't want, why? Because they don't want to have to go back to it. That's why. It's like, just say it, move on. The kid's fine. I saw Power Rangers Operation Overdrive at the time. I think it had interesting ideas, but terrible execution again. But let's confirm that Jim comes back at the end of the next one, and then it's a center stage thing in the third. So he's going to be at the very end. So it's not going to be Jim versus the Jimmies, unless the Jimmies just are like all fucking around, or they're going to be in the third one too. He's going to go from the Jimmies, you're a Jimmy, now you're a Jim. Was it yes! Check out Isaac Stevenson's review 20 years later. Plug it shamelessly, good sir. Shamelessly. Do it. I order you. Wait until they reveal the rage-infected Spice Girls cult. Now that one would be fucking wild. Suspension of disbelief. Thank you. Thank you, Deadpool. I was losing my mind. I was like, what am I trying to say? I can see people being annoyed with the eye lug going in and out of sanity. But similar to how my grandmother didn't know who I was in his deathbed, but recognized my mom. No, I understand that. Like, I've had that too in my life. I've seen this thing used in a lot of movies and used well. It's just, I was just, I didn't want to have to then just endure this for the next like half the film. Like, all right, here we go. This is all it's going to be. I just didn't care for it. But I can see a lot of people like would be invested in that story based on personal experience, and it would really hit them. Totally understand. It's just for me, I'm just like, I just don't want to see this. Probably 20 years later, said sets up something, does nothing. Yeah, it just sets up a whole bunch of stuff. It's like, all right, well, we're gonna get when are we gonna see the end of this? It's like, yeah, sequel. And Ryan, Chris, what's your thoughts on the Punisher being Spider-Man Brand New Day? Cool. It's gonna be. I've seen all the memes and gifs from it. It's like, oh, Mr. Castle, I'm on a web flu. What should we do now? This is fucking John Bernthal with his fucking heavy machine guns is going. You know what I'm talking about. You know the John Bernthal guttural fucking wail and scream him losing his fucking mind. Oh, Mr. Castle, geez, like the Green Goblin, he's back. What should we do? He just cuts to John Bernthal, fucking gouging some poor fucking schmuck's eyes out. I would love it if they do that in the movie. I'm very excited for it. I hope they have those scenes like that. I'd be into it. So yes, I'm like them the Hulk and everything. It's like all right, but we'll see. The Punisher though, it's like all right. The Punisher originally appeared, and that's how the Punisher's first appearance was in Spider-Man, the comics. He started off as a Spider-Man villain, anti-villain situation. I'm interested in Megan too because I do think it looks fun, and B, I've been getting that trailer a lot, and I'm kind of looking forward to not having to see the trailer anymore. Sure, yes, to both of those things. Well, at least the movie wasn't dull, I guess. See, I thought it was dull. There were points of movies like, this is fucking slow. Jesus. I felt the length of the movie. I think ours were there would be a next movie, so they jam all their ideas. But that's the thing. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen with this sequel. Like, if this movie doesn't do well, you know, I'm willing to bet there's gonna be a tremendous fall off with the box office. I do believe that. I think this is gonna have a huge drop off. Because you got 2 big movies coming out. You still got How to Train Your Dragon out, which is doing. Well, I don't even know the box office of How to Train Your Dragon is. I have no idea. I assume it's making money. I assume it's doing okay. Right. At least okay. And then next week you got Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park. No, let me tell you. So I don't know. And it's divisive. This movie is very divisive. There's a lot of people that like it, a lot of people that don't. Especially when audiences. Critics seemingly are lauding it, but I don't really get it. All the Jimmys from together to form Jimtron. Let's do it. Jimmy from Rumble. Oh God, Jimmy from Rumble. He's just out there doing Jimmy things. It's a tricky role that could be easily screwed up. I think Comer manageable. I don't know. I was not on board. I hope Spider-Man makes jokes about him screwing things better. That'd be really fun, Mr. Castle. I don't think I should be using a Glock. I absolutely hate his grunting. I fucking love it though. I love it. You're not really. It's definitely a crutch that he uses in a lot of films. You're not wrong, but when he does it as the Punisher, I'm very amused by it. I'm very amused by Angry John Berthel noises. R.I.P. Green Goblin. Yeah, straight up. It was that it just wasn't a rehash of A Quiet Place, which I was worried it might be looking at the trailer when they showed her walking around with the baby. Yeah, it was just dumber. It was like if Alex Garland, Danny Boyle looked at Quiet Place. We could do that. We could do that worse. Right? Alex is like, yeah, I could definitely do that worse. They're like, yeah. And boy, they accomplished that. If Frank was in No Way Home, Aunt May would probably still be alive. That's true. The movie would be fun. So he would have killed all of them. You should have seen them all at the apartment. Yeah. That would be a great fucking gift. That would be a great meme if Frank walked in the apartment of No Way Home. Just these 2 machine guns just go. They'd all be dead. Maybe except Sandman. Sandman might be okay. We get the Punisher van. Ooh, let's get the Punisher van with Micro. I think they'll probably escape the control of the Hulk. I to be honest, I would not mention the leader ever again in the MCU at this point. I'd be like, we're not going to mention that. I would leave that alone. It's like, you know what? You fucked up. Let's not bring that up. I was a born actor. Really like it, but I despise how he filmed it. I hated there is really good points of cinematography, but the editing I thought was atrocious. I think the editing is really bad in this movie. I will die on that fucking hill. They're big on making money of this one to make the third. Yeah, that's right, because the Sony hadn't greenlit the. It is Sony, right? Is it Sony? They haven't greenlit the second or the third one. So,